Okay, folks. One of those days where I'm running a bit behind. Just gonna record this on the fly while I'm driving. I think I got about 5-6 more miles till the exit I gotta take. But so it's day 114. Another just update video on Nofap. It's Tuesday, the 9th of February, 2021. Let me see. So last night, I got about halfway through the goal I had for getting some homework problems done, but I'm still a day ahead. I got one problem left. I'll get that done tonight. It's the plan, and then go ahead and submit it a day ahead. At least I'm kind of hitting my big idea or big goal, which is to spread these assignments out over several days, and instead of waiting until the day of and then trying to sort of cram all that work in at the last minute. But I'll be trying to improve on that as time goes on, just to make sure that I get the grade I'm aiming for. I got to keep this process up so I can make it to where I'm trying to get to, and make it to where I'm trying to get to in a timely manner, next few years. But every day, every week, every month, I'm working on this sort of stuff counts, and it really makes a difference. And hopefully, the idea is 6 months to a year in the future, I'll be glad that I did what I did on this day or this time. But other than that, I was sort of going back and forth, talking with my dad about stuff relating to finances, because and it's something that I'll have to learn to do myself, in the future. But he was helping me out with the whole tax return business, and I had to compile all my documents and send them over to him. And as much as I was wanting for some huge tax return to come my way, because it would sort of speed things up. Truth is, I'm going to have to be paying the IRS a bit, not that much, especially compared to how much I was, making last year working overtime on my last job, and how much, financial progress I made. So it's not really a big deal, but a little bit of a disappointment. But it is what it is. But beyond that, I think my main issue right now, outside of just the daily grind, has been this whole experience of having others try to sort of get back into my life, and it's okay. It's like this. Okay, I don't hate my sister. I don't hate my mother. I don't hate women. But the issue has been sort of this whole deal where and you can bring the red pill into this, because it really is kind of about that, where you'll have these women, and I used to talk about the quote unquote one-eyed girl all the dang time, or my ex-girlfriend or so, where they'll essentially milk you for all the time, attention, etc. they can, and not really doing anything on their end, due diligence wise. And then when it gets to that point in life where patience has been worn out, you don't got the time or energy or so for any of that, and you're just kind of okay, it's finally not blue pilled anymore. Finally having some respect for your own time and your own sanity and your own life, getting something out of your life, that sort of deal, making yourself your own mental point of origin. And right around that time will be when oftentimes it's the girl will be going through her epiphany phase, and it happens to every woman pretty much out there, at least according to certain folks in the sort of the red pill community, if you will. But I'm just sort of commenting on my own experience. But with my sister, she's kind of at that stage, and it's sort of it's ironic, because I've seen this happen with other women I knew that I wasn't even in a quote unquote romantic relationship with in any sense or so, but it's at that point where they require the attention of a competent guy who has his act together. And it's at that point where a lot of those guys just don't care anymore. They don't care about that particular girl. Maybe they've whether it's in the romantic sense they've gotten with some other girl, or maybe they've just built their life for themselves, where they have sort of all these other concerns and, you know, problems and focuses. It's some things they need to focus on. And at that point, it's just like, you know, well, it's almost like the girl in question, whether it's a family member or it's some girl you were interested in or so, it's sort of worn out all her chances or opportunities. And I'll use an example that's completely unrelated to anything in my family or any girl I was romantically into. There was this girl in my engineering classes, and I mean, my God, this girl like wore out everybody's patience. I mean, it was like she had pulled the gender card so many dang times with the professors who themselves, most of them were female, and they were like giving her, you know, 3 or 4 chances in a row with most of those classes, upper division engineering classes, to just take them again and again and again. And okay, we're not gonna, you know, kick you out of the program, that sort of thing, because we really want to, you know, give you that extra chance, because, you know, oh yeah, you know, you're saying you want to be a engineer and you're a woman, and etc., etc. And even they were just like sick and tired of it after a point. And then of course she was like picking fights with those professors over dumb things like, you know, lab safety rules where you're supposed to wear like long pants and, you know, shoes that cover your toes, because, you know, you might be handling chemicals and possibly, you know, there could be spills and things of that nature. It's like a safety issue. And it was to the point where, you know, where guys in that class, guys who were like, you know, attracted to her that way, they were just, you know, even sick and tired of it. They weren't willing to go, you know, bend over backwards for her because, oh, the possibility of, you know, getting something in return sort of thing. They were just like, even then, they were done with it. They were just like, I'm done with this. I'm sick of this. And it came to a point where, like, she flipped out on everyone in the class. And then one of her classes, and was like, you know, that was sort of like the line she crossed. And then eventually they had to send in a, what was it, like a, basically some what do you call them, some staff from the university, and I think they had like a campus cop there, and they had to take her initially for observation for like 24 hours, and then they decided to basically expel her from the university, because she was just, you know, just being disruptive, and obviously was like not, you know, cut off for the program. And I mean, that was basically it, you know. And I mean, I can tell you pretty much for a fact, I mean, in my own experience, like if things had been different, aka her gender had been different, probably no one would have cared. They would have been like, tough luck, bud, you know, you screwed up. You know, I guess you're not cut out to be an engineer, you know, go find something else to do, you know, go flip burgers or whatever. You know, they would probably have that attitude, and they wouldn't have even gotten to the point of like having to wear people's you know, patience or understanding out, you know. And I see the same thing with my sister, and, you know, it's kind of like at this point where it's like, you know, like there's a difference between, you know, and look, I can expand this out to apply to men too, because I'm sure there are some folks are going to want to, like, if they even like watch my videos, they'll probably want to try and argue with me about this, but there's a difference between choosing to humble yourself versus being humbled. And the thing I see with her is that, and again, it's not just my sister, it's like I've seen this across the board, but it's sort of like being at that point where, you know, she's sort of gone and done all the things she wanted to do, and basically wasted her time and wasted so many other people's time, and now she has to sort of trying to convince people that, you know, it's worth their time and their sanity and their efforts to basically give attention, give time, let her back into their lives, that sort of thing. And the really sad thing about this, really, it has nothing to do with her. It has to do with my dad, because there was a similar situation in my mom's family, and in this case, you know, again, you're cutting across gender lines. This is the case of like my uncle, who basically kind of pulled the same thing, but I think a lot of folks had a lot less, you know, patience for him because he was a dude, but he pulled some similar stuff, and it eventually sort of wore down on my grandpa, and my grandpa died really young because of that sort of that was one factor. And I see the same thing playing out with my dad, and my dad calling me up and basically bringing this stuff up, and eventually, um, the conversation turning to this sort of stuff, and then, you know, um, it affects me because it just kind of makes it hard for me to get to sleep, which then leads me to being in a situation where I'm, rolling into work like a minute or two before I'm supposed to be in there, and then having to try to record, a video on the fly. And, my sister pulled so much kind of garbage over the last several years that like impacted my academics, impacted the course of my life, caused me to be held back at the community college by 2 to 3 years, in addition to what I would have been, because I what was it? She pulled some fake suicide attempt for attention, and I ended up failing a class that was a prerequisite for a bunch of other classes, and it's stuff like that where I'm just like, I don't much care at this point. I look at it, cost benefit analysis and what differences is it going to make and things of that nature, and it's just like, but anyways, that's kind of like why I would say, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with who you let into your life, how you let them affect you. Guys, stop obsessing over women, okay? They're supposed to be a part of your life to one extent or another, but honestly, like, don't make them the focus of it. And if you're on Nofap, don't make it the focus. Dude, bro, how do I get the girls? That sort of thing. I don't know what else to say beyond that. The other thing I would want to say, and it's sort of a quick aside, but with the whole politics thing, I don't know the guy's name, but there was this guy who got involved with that recent fiasco out east, and he basically threw away a $1 million a year income so he could, masquerade over there. And that's another reason why I just say stay out of politics. Don't be a useful idiot. Focus on things that you actually have an effect on, and if you really, really, really care about that kind of stuff, focus on building up your wealth. Get your money right, get your health right, and then you can actually have an influence, and it's not going to be in some sort of crazy, publicity stunt where that leads to you to ending up in jail or something like that. But anyways, it's been a long video, and I gotta run, so I'll see you folks around. Day 114, Nofap, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.